Gonzi Rai was endorsed and offered blessings of the 73 Duruma community Kaya elders to go for yet another term in office. The 40 men and 33 women gathered at Kaya Gandini in Kinango dressed him up in traditional regalia and offered him prayers amid drum beats and dance in the thick sacred forest.
Uwe toto yenye mwana baba mosini mwakala mtitawala na kusema kweli kaya kaina zitso sisi baba unatawala ni kaya za utamu na unzongeza za umbiri.
And further afield, some of the biggest names in soccer gathered in Argentina yesterday to see Barcelona striker Lionel Messi wed his longtime girlfriend Antonella Roccuzzo. The couple came out to the media for a big kiss. Past and present Barcelona teammates were all there, as was Gerard Piqué and his popstar wife Shakira. Several Premier League players were also among the 260 guests, including Chelsea's Cesc Fabregas and Manchester City's Sergio Aguero. An extra 350 police officers were drafted in to provide security for the event, which took place in Rosario, the city where Messi grew up. U.S. President Donald Trump focused on immigration in his weekly address, calling on Congress to take action. He also called for legislation that would block several federal grants to jurisdictions that shield dangerous criminal aliens from being turned over to federal law enforcement.
My fellow Americans, this week I was joined at the White House by American families whose loved ones were killed by illegal immigrants. Many of these illegal immigrants had extensive criminal records and had been repeatedly deported. Every single one of these deaths was preventable. These beautiful American lives were stolen because our government refused to do its job. If the government had simply enforced our immigration laws, these Americans would still be alive today. That's why, since the day I took the oath of office, I have been restoring the enforcement of our immigration laws and the protection and defense of our borders. These courageous Americans joined me at the White House to call on Congress to pass two bills that I campaigned on during the election. If enacted, these bills will save countless American lives. The first bill, Kate's Law, is named for Kate Steinle, who was killed by an illegal immigrant who had been deported 5 times. This law will enhance criminal penalties for those who repeatedly re-enter our country illegally. The second bill, the No Sanctuary for Criminals Act, will block federal grants to jurisdictions that shield dangerous criminal aliens from being turned over to federal law enforcement. On Thursday, I am glad to report these two bills passed the House of Representatives. This represents a crucial step toward ensuring our public safety and national security. I want to thank Judiciary Chairman Bob Goodlatte for his dedicated work on these critical bills, as well as other crucial legislation that will soon be considered as well. I also thank leadership for advancing these life-saving measures. I now call on the Senate to take up these bills and send them back to my desk for signature as soon as possible. We need security. We need safety in our country. And I call on all members of both parties to stand united with victims to stop these terrible and senseless crimes from ever happening in the first place. This legislation presents a simple choice. Either vote to save and protect American lives, or vote to shield and comfort criminal aliens who threaten innocent lives. And they've been shielded too long. As we head toward the 4th of July, we remember now more than ever to cherish our freedom. The foundation of freedom is the rule of law. It forms the bedrock of our Constitution and the cornerstone of our way of life. So this Independence Day, while we're enjoying treasured time with our friends and loved ones, let us not forget the families who have an empty seat at the table this year. And let us pledge that from now on, we will protect, defend, and save American lives.
To the tensions in the Korean Peninsula now, U.S. President Donald Trump has emphasized the need for a determined response to North Korea after talks with South Korean President Moon Jae-in last evening. In a joint appearance with Moon, Trump said North Korea's nuclear and ballistic missile programs required a determined response and reiterated that an era of strategic patience with North Korean government had ended.
Melania and I are honored to welcome President Moon. More than 6 decades after our partnership was forged in the fires of war, the alliance between the United States and South Korea is a cornerstone of peace and security in a very, very dangerous part of the world. The link between our countries, cemented in battle, is now also tied together by culture, commerce, and common values. The United States, as your first foreign trip as president, I greatly enjoyed our dinner last night. Values. Together we are facing the threat of the reckless and brutal regime in North Korea. The nuclear and ballistic missile programs of that regime require a determined response. The North Korean dictatorship has no regard for the safety and security of its people or its neighbors, and has no respect for human life, and that's been proven over and over again. Millions of North Korea's own citizens have suffered and starved to death. And the entire world just witnessed what the regime did to our wonderful Otto Warmbier. I thank President Moon for expressing his condolences on the travesty of Otto's death. Our thought.
Let's come back to Africa now. The Dakar Fashion Week in Senegal, one of Africa's oldest fashion exhibitions, revealed stunning looks by designers from across Africa during a runway show earlier this week. A total of 11 designers from Senegal, Cameroon, Congo, Gabon and Guinea-Bissau showcased their collections during the Fashion Week street event in Senegal's capital. The public show attracted a young crowd of Senegalese who proudly looked on as 5 local designers took turns ascending their collections down the catwalk.
Brillance, beauté, élégance, féminité. Avec un envie du Sénégal, de la fierté. Mais là tout a changé, aujourd'hui chacun met ses barrières.
It's in progress. It's still going to be a bit different when you see it on the runway eventually. So it's in the collection as a whole is inspired by underwater creatures and things. So I'm playing with a very soft palette of sea-like colors. You have peach in there, you have lavender, you have soft blues, and just really nice soft colors all blended together. But then I'm using fabrics that, you know, hand-dyed, either it's hand-dyed or it's hand-woven, just stuff I've tried to build up myself, and then we have different elements of fabrics in there. It's just a really nice matchup, and I hope that you enjoy. Look forward to showing it to you as a collection and telling the story fully. I don't want to reveal too much right now, so see you on the runway.
And back home in Kajiado County, Jubilee leaders led by Gatundu South Member of Parliament Moses Kuria met with their NASA political competitors led by Kajiado Governor David Nkediane at Ilbisil town in a separate political envoys from Kajiado town to Namanga. Jubilee Brigade arrived earlier, but they were silenced by NASA supporters chanting NASA slogans.
Masai pahali yake sio pinzani, si ndio? Masai ni mtu wa serikali sababu ya mashida nyingine tofauti, ndio? Na nyinyi kupigia upinzani kura ni kama tu kukamua ndume, si ni kweli? Uko na akili, unaona tu hawa watu wanazama. Kuna vile hawa watu wanaweza kutushinda? Niwaulize watu wa bisi, hata ukifanya hesabu gani, fanya ya mbuzi, fanya ya ng'ombe, fanya ya ngamia, kuna watatushinda namna gani bwana? Kama watu wa bisi wakati huo mwingine walipigia huyo jamaa vitendawili na hakupita, sasa atapita aje? Kama watu wa bisi walikuwa na Nkaiseli kwa hiyo jamaa ya kitendawili, na sasa hii Nkaiseli ndio mkubwa yote ya majeshi yote ya hii dunia, hata naweza funga wao siku ya kura.
Now, in that same town of Ilbisil, NASA leaders